Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Portland. I'm Nick Miller alongside Jamal Sims. How you doing, sir?
How you doing there?
Pretty good. I've been meaning to do a deck tech with Rally the Ancestors since the card's been around, and no one has satiated me yet. You came up to me, you said, we got it. We've got
Rally.
the Gray Merchant
We broke
combo.
the format.
We've got it. So we're going to do it too. We're going to do the deck tech here. We've got a typical graveyard-based strategy with Community of the Gods, Satyr Wayfinder, but the things you're doing are not like what these other Reanimator decks are doing.
No.
Go ahead and tell us what your deck does.
So basically what the deck wants to do is play Rally Ancestors, and it wants X to equal 5, because one, every creature that you play is 5 up. So you have your Garys, you have your Siege Rhinos, you have Executioner, you have Grim. All the cards have come into play triggers. So anytime you rally, you're never rallying for nothing. It's always going to be something happening. Let's say you have a situation where you have 2 Wayfinders in the graveyard and a Grim, or 3 Wayfinders and a Grim, right? Your opponent swings at you. You have a rally in hand. You have 5 mana. You rally for 5. You get your Wayfinder. You get to trigger your Wayfinder, block, draw a card, block, draw a card. Or you have Executioner in Grim. Automatically sack a guy, draw a card. And this guy in particular has been really good because for some reason, every control player in the world decides to tap out when they have their Hexproof Dragon. Yeah. So you get to kill it for 3. Right. And if that guy's in play, you get to draw a card.
Yeah,
and
Merciless Executioner has been a key card everyone's kind of been going to fight those dragon strategies. Yeah. And you have pretty big combo there with the Executioner and the Grim Horror Specs.
And the best thing is you can kill your opponent in response to things. You could kill your opponent in response to a dig through time like I did to an opponent.
Take us through like a play pattern in which you can do a kill you when they don't realize it.
Okay, so generally when you're playing against control, you want to have more than 1 rally in hand. You're playing 3 rallies, but you're also playing 3 Siddices. So sometimes you can play a Siddice, get a card you need, generally a rally. So against control, usually you want to wait till they have like about, let's say, 3 cards in hand. Rally at the end of their turn. They're probably going to counter it. Untap, do your turn. If you have your Thoughtseize, that's gravy. If you don't have your Thoughtseize, you can rally during their respective turn. Now, killing him in surprise, I had an opponent where I have 4 spiders in play. I milled a good bit of my graveyard. Somehow I drew all 3 of my rallies. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna go for it. Or whenever he taps out. And what he did was he did his turn and he played like this dragon with hexproof and that dragon with hexproof and this guy. And I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna be dead in a few turns. Right. And he's like, you know what? I'm also gonna tap out for dig through time. I was like, wait. How much mana do you have? Oh, I'm tapping out. Okay, kill you.
Yeah. And
I hit him for 28 life in response to his dig through time.
So you have a combination of filling your graveyard with those 8 cards we already mentioned, but also Nyx Weaver. So when they tap out for the dig through time and you rally, show us how you're stacking the triggers and like all the combinations in which, because I'm sure when you say, okay, you've tapped out, you're dead, take us through how you explain it to them, because it's pretty complicated.
So the best thing to remember, and I actually learned a lot from playing on Magic Online with this one, is you want to make sure that your Gary see all your things that come into play first. So let's say we have, I don't know, this.
Executioner, Siege Rhino,
this,
couple Gray Merchants, and a Grim Horror Specs or 2.
Let's say 1.
Sure.
So the way that your trigger will come into play is, so you do it like that. So your Gary's coming into play first. So your Gary's going to see everything that's in the play. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. First Gary's going to drain for 7. Second Gary's going to drain for 14. Rhino's going to drain for 3. Then this happens, trigger, sack something. Now, the reason that this guy's important in this situation, at the beginning of your next upkeep, Rally exiles the card.
Right.
And it exiles all your creatures that you brought back. So, with this guy, I can sack my Gary, or I can even sack my Rhino if I don't have enough devotion. Put my Rhino in the yard, they have to sack a guy, draw a card off of that, and let's say for whatever reason I didn't kill them.
Right. Somehow you haven't killed them with all that grain.
Somehow I haven't killed them. They have X amount of life left, okay? And I have another rally in hand, and the only card left in my graveyard is just the Rhino. I can get the Rhino back because I sacked it with this before I got exiled.
Right.
You can also do interesting interactions where, so let's put this back over here. You can do other interactions where your Nyx Weave Spider and your Rally. So if you stack the triggers correctly, you can mill the top 2 cards on top of your library during the upkeep, and then this will resolve. Now, before it lets that resolve, you can also use the 3 mana to get something back. So same situation. Let's say you hit them for 1 billion life. They haven't died yet. You have a spider in the play. Okay, you stack your triggers. You mill 2 cards. Oh, you milled a Rhino. You pay the 3 mana. You get back the Rhino. This guy exiles. The rest of yourself exiles. You have a Rhino in your hand. You played a Rhino. They've already tapped out. They're dead.
Where 1,000,000,003 is what you need to do to kill them.
Yeah, when you got to kill everybody in the room, you know, you bring the additional Rhino.
All right. So you've kind of gone over it, but we missed over some of the creatures. You've got the 3 undead Vizios here. Normally getting yourself a rally, I assume, possibly maybe if you need to get yourself a Executioner or a Thoughtseize, something like that.
Sidisi is actually best when it's in the yard. So because our rally is never going above 5, because everything is 5 and up, there are some situations where you want to bring your Sidisi in to sack when your Sidisi comes into play, to sack a creature, to either draw an additional card or to most of the time draw your backup rally.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to rally for value, like you don't have enough guys in your yard. Right. But let's say you have 3 Wayfinders and a Sidisi, right? And you rally for 5. Well, your 3 Wayfinders are going to mill 12 cards. Your Sidisi can then sack one of your Wayfinders to get an additional rally. And amongst those 12 cards, you should probably have enough damage in the yard to use that rally at another time, or to use it the next available time that you have a chance to.
Okay. Talk about how the deck works. You know, you don't really have any mana ramp, so to say. So when you've got a Rally Ancestors for 5, that requires quite a bit of mana.
Yes.
So you're getting there by basically just playing a bunch of 1/1s, some 2/3s, and then playing Rhinos, I assume?
Well, for the most part, what we're doing, so we do have to get to 7. You want to get to 7. There are situations where you don't get your rallies. And you can play like a normal Abzan deck, and there's other situations where sometimes you don't have to get to 7, you can get to 6. So let's say you have multiple Rhinos in the yard.
Sure.
Sometimes 9 life is enough.
Okay.
Sometimes you've played a Rhino earlier and you attacked a couple times with that Rhino and they killed that Rhino. You played another Rhino and they attacked with that Rhino and they killed that Rhino. Well, 6 damage might be enough.
Sure.
Sometimes you just need to wipe their board, so you rally for 5 and you execution a couple of times and draw a couple of cards and just play a couple of dudes because their board is wiped and they have no cards in hand and now they're top decking for the rest of the game. I mean, in a perfect world, you always want to hit 7.
Right.
But the deck can play pretty good without hitting 7.
It's good to know that a deck, you know, when you're trying to rally, you don't always have to rally for the exact combo. You have enough value.
You're still playing
that you
Garys.
can just play a normal game. Exactly.
You can still go like Grim, Nyxweaver, some dude, Gary. Drain you
usually
for,
enough.
You know, drain you for X amount of life. Like, Gary is still Gary.
Let's take a look at the sideboard.
Okay.
You got 3 Erase and a Reclamation Sage and some Graveyard Hate. I talked to you earlier in the day. You said tokens was a pretty tough strategy to beat.
I'm really afraid of Jeskai Ascendancy. That's why we brought 4 spots for Jeskai Ascendancy. Mono red is an issue.
Your Ration Cleric. Yep.
I swore I had another ultimate price in here somewhere.
Got some ultimate prices.
Is it in my land?
It's all right.
But
I believe if you have an extra one.
But ultimate price, there it goes. The additional ultimate price just to deal with red-green dragons. Pretty much red-green dragons. Or any deck that's like slightly quicker. Most, like, ultimate price has kind of been dead for me, unfortunately, a lot of times. When it's dead for me, I bring in the Abzan Charms. But sometimes they play a Stormbreath Dragon and Abzan Charm does nothing.
Doesn't deal with it.
You need ultimate price.
And of course, you got a couple Wrath of Gods here,
Yeah.
Crux of Fate, and End of Hostilities.
So yeah, sometimes you just have to blow up the world twice.
Not bad.
For the most part, it's basically aggro decks. Like, Talker Red's really bad, Mono Red's really bad, Jeskai Ascendancy Tokens is really bad. But the reason I'm playing the deck is because our Esper Dragon matchup is so beautiful.
Real good.
It's so beautiful. We play 4 Edicts. We also play instant speed, get our Edicts back. So that's great. And Control is hard to play, and most players, they'll pick up the deck because it's the best deck in the room without really knowing the ins and outs of it, and they'll make little mistakes that you can exploit.
Right, when they tap out, you got to get them with Rally Ancestors. So one last question here before we wrap up. If you're looking to play an Abzan deck, why would you play this version of Abzan over some of the others? Because there's multiples. There's the aggros, the controls, and the mid-range decks. What is so appealing to this deck?
Because you can kill people in their upkeep.
All right.
Because you can kill people in their upkeep, because you can kill people in response to them attacking, because you can kill people when they tab out for dig, because you can kill people, like, if you like combo, if you like just, I gotcha, that's why.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Jamal, thanks for sitting down with me in the sideboard.
Hey, no
we got
problem.
a pretty sweet Rally the Ancestors deck here for you. So stay tuned to all the action here in Portland on StarCityGames.com.